piping and drumming world is constantly looking to regenerate itself, with young newcomers to the wonderful world of what we do, welcoming kids into the fold. And with good reason. An art or sport that doesn't continually look to the next generation will eventually shrivel up and blow away. It may never be more important than now to recruit new players. But with an aging population and apparent declining membership numbers with piping and drumming associations, what about older pipers and drummers? Many players over 50 continue to participate in piping, drumming, and pipe band competitions, but most don't. As age creeps up, there is a natural drop-off in any competition-oriented art or sport, but in piping and drumming, attrition seems more significant. Why do so many pipers and drummers leave our big family? What drives them away in more significant numbers than most hobbies? Put more positively, what is it that keeps players involved? What more could associations do to retain members? How can older players stay happier and more involved? Rather than speculate, we spoke with 4 actively competing pipers over 50 about their experiences. Charlie Martin of Northern California is in his mid-50s and competes in Grade 1 amateur solo contests. He is the pipe major of the Grade 5 Pipes and Drums of Cal Fire L2881. Before that, Martin was pipe major of the Grade 4 Black Raven Pipe Band of San Francisco and competed with the Grade 3 Dunvegan Pipe Band. A student initially with Ozzie Reed, his teacher is now John Cairns, and he is a regular attendee of the Celtic Arts Foundation's Winter School. Martin travels throughout California with his band and is active in running the annual Reading Solo Piping Competition. An original member of the 78th Fraser Highlanders, including when the band won the Worlds in 1987, Brian Pollock of Whitby, Ontario, continues to compete today with the Grade 2 Toronto Police Pipe Band. Now over 70, Pollock's competing career goes back to the 1960s. He was a Grade 1 City of Toronto Pipe Band member for many years, and went with pipe major Bill Livingston to play with the Grade 1 General Motors, which then evolved into the 78th Frasers. A busy and highly successful career in business saw Pollock step back for many years before returning to competition more than a decade ago, revisiting and enjoying the scene that has been such a part of his life. Iain Simpson is from Bo'ness, Scotland. Now 63, he was a member of the famed Boghall and Bathgate Caledonia Pipe Band for more than 3 decades and served as a leader of the piping and drumming teaching program at George Watson's College in Edinburgh for many years. As good fortune and canny decisions would have it, the timing of Iain Simpson's return to People's Ford, Boghall and Bathgate Caledonia, in 2023 was impeccable, as they enjoyed the finest season in their long history, culminating with winning the World Pipe Band Championship for the first time. Not only did Simpson return to the band, but he entered solo competitions and even started to learn pibroch, successfully competing with his son Jonathan around contests in Canada and Scotland throughout the summer. Anne Spalding of Brodie Ferry, Scotland, is a famous and historically significant piper. She was a top soloist in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, and has been a stalwart member of her local Mackenzie Caledonian Pipe Band for decades. Renowned for her commitment to teaching, Spalding has ushered dozens, even hundreds, of young pipers into the fold. In 1976, she was one of 4 female solo pipers to break the gender barrier at the significant competitions in Scotland by being permitted to compete as the first woman at the prestigious Argyllshire Gathering and Northern Meeting. In 2019, Anne Spalding was awarded the Balvenie Medal for her services to piping. In November, we welcomed these 4 older and wiser pipers to our exclusive video discussion panel, which we'll present in 2 parts. We started by asking them what's motivated them to keep competing.
Well, I really think a lot about the people that I play in the band with. They're good friends, and there's so many people over the last 50 plus years that that means so much. And a lot of our social events in the house here are people that I don't play with anymore, but they're still our best friends. And so people is the number one thing. It's also good, of course, to keep physically active, and certainly there's not much better physical instrument than the pipes, that's for sure. And so that's good. And of course, the music. The music is something that binds us all together. So those are the things that motivate me to keep at it.
Yeah, Brian, I'm very, very similar to that. Obviously, I joined Boghall in the mid '80s. I'm playing for one of the best bands in the world, playing great music, and it's the friendship that matters. It's a great atmosphere at the band, nice family atmosphere, good blend of youth and experience, and you just want to be part of that. And some of these guys, they're actually long-term friends now, lifelong friends. Another bit of a motivation for me as well when I was pipe major at George Watson's College. For me, anyway, it was a case of I wanted to play at the top so I could try and inspire the pupils to get there and give them some sort of incentive to play well and try and move up the grades as well. In fact, there's quite a few of the guys that actually I taught at George Watson's College, and they're now with me at Boghall and Bathgate, which is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And we do share a lot of banter with them now, because I do remember when they came to me, they were maybe about 7 years old in their short trousers and things like that. And now they're grown men, and it's great fun, great fun.
For me, I keep getting better. I'm playing better than I ever have. My fingers were maybe more nimble when I was younger, but my understanding of the music and my motivation to play well is better than ever. I have more time, and there's also other avenues such as small pipes and that type of thing that just weren't available when we were kids. That, and as already said, the people, lifelong friends and relationships.
Yes, the friendship thing is quite a big thing in the band at the moment. We have a lot of families, so we have I'm saying lots of fathers and sons, or mothers and daughters, and that's probably what keeps me playing, is the fact that my daughter's playing in the band as well, and she's a drummer, and also teaching keeps me playing. Otherwise, I'd probably not be playing as much, because it's more physically demanding now for me. Just being on your feet all day at a championship, it's a long day, and I've done it for many years. And I do manage it, but it's quite daunting now, or at least it was last year. But it's also, if you don't keep playing, you lose a lot of your. Do you lose? I don't think you lose your enthusiasm necessarily, but you would lose your motivation, I think. My husband doesn't play, so it tends not to be a family thing. Now that, especially now that he's retired, that makes a difference. So really, teaching is keeping me playing just now. I only did the second half of the season with the band last year, and that was mainly because I thought I probably didn't maybe need to be in the band till I discovered that I actually missed it quite a lot. So I did the second half of the season. Well, I did the last two majors, so there were only 4 majors. So I did the last 2 majors just to keep the band going as well.
That was the same time.
Yeah.
and talking about your family, obviously my son Jonathan, he plays in Boghall now as well. And we were actually taught by the same person. That was my father, albeit I was taught in the 60s, where Jonathan was taught in the 90s. And I started with Bowness. Well, it was actually Crail Collier at the time. And then when the pit shut, they changed their name to Bowness RBL. And then from there, I went to Boghall. Jonathan followed a similar route. He started in Bowness RBL, and then he went to Watson's for 8 years or so, and now he plays in Boghall beside me. And there's not a greater feeling in the world to be, whether it's a competition, a gala day, or even anything, a concert. It's great that she's playing alongside, and so it's a good family. Plus, our wives, Janice and Gemma, come along to watch as well, and my wee grandson, Fraser.
Yes.
I can't forget him.
Nice.
I have the opposite end of that family thing. My dad was a piper and played pipes in Northern Ireland and emigrated to Canada. And he died when I was only 7 years old. And I always wanted to emulate him, of course. And in fact, the guys in the band that taught me, I think when I look back, they were like a kind of a substitute father. You know, they taught me how to swear and drink and everything else. That was a great motivation to me to play the pipes.
Given that, what are some of the things they do now that they might not have done in the past?
I do, a lot more stretching and pay attention to the physicality of the instrument much more. But I think that's also something that's been recognized within the piping community as, and musicians in general, is a need to stretch and whatnot. But teachers are teaching that now. And I find that it's absolutely critical. And, I've watched some of the top players go off and have handwork done and massages and whatnot at the piping workshops so that they can keep playing through this, this strenuous nature of those workshops. Working on my stamina is essential for me now. As a kid, I could play all day, but now I have to really focus on keeping it up and practicing, doing a double or triple MSR and that sort of thing. But there's a lot more resources now to that guide you in the right direction, like Stephanie Burns's works on the adult learner. None of that stuff existed when we were first learning, and I find it really is helpful and encouraging as someone becoming a senior player.
To be honest, when I left the grade one, I was still, I decided, or Jonathan, my son, kindly decided for me that I should start playing in the solos. So I was always playing my pipes. I didn't actually stop playing my pipes. And Jonathan would come around to the house, so we'd be jamming together and playing tunes here or there. And that's when he encouraged me to go into the solos. Dad, you're good. You should go into the solos while you still can, while you can still play a Dublin. Bless him. But talking about, I'm spending a lot more time now on the actual practice chant and just making sure my embellishment, doublins, etc. are all good. That's a thing at Boghall. We do go through exercise and things like that, and I'm actually doing them more and more now because we are getting to the twilight, and it is more difficult to keep your fingers supple, etc. Also, and I'm blowing my pipes more as well. Blowing my pipes more than I've ever blown them. And I think the main reason is it actually keeps me out of the fridge. I'll go upstairs and play my pipes for maybe an hour and a half or so. And I do enjoy playing my pipes. And now that I'm learning pibroch as well, because I never ever used to play pibroch, but I'm playing pibroch now, just because I'm playing the solos, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I should say on the physical side, I do walk a lot. I walk between maybe 5 to 10 miles per day, as long as I've got the time to do it. And same with one of my big hobbies now is cycling. I've taken up cycling since I've got a wee bit older. And I can about roughly maybe between 50 or 70 miles a week, which equates to round about maybe 3,500 a year, which is it's quite a stress. It's not stressful. I love it on the bike. I'm just getting out and you can dream about anything you want. Just getting the wind in your, well, I don't get the wind in my hair now, but I've got, but just dreaming away. Yeah.
I just have to play my pipes more often, and I've just said before, the teaching does help that, because you do have to play with the kids, and also part of the reason for going back to the band was just to keep myself playing. My hands get quite sore just now, so I just, because they're changing shape as well, and so I just think, well, I have to keep piping, so that, because if I don't, then I wouldn't be able to get my hands on the chanter. My mum was like that as well, and she was told to keep playing, to keep the hands supple, or to keep the hands being able to drop on the chanter. Because I think if you just stop and if your hand or your fingers are changing, then if you don't do it, then I feel that I'm not going to be able to just put the work in the way I'm supposed to. I'm quite happy with the way I play at the moment, but I still don't think it's as good as what it used to be. So yeah, that's my main thing. I don't I don't walk nearly enough because I now have a sore hip. I'm beginning to sound a bit decrepit, but that's I'm hoping that something that either won't get any worse or I can actually get something done about it. Meantime, I just think that I'm just taking it day to day, contest to contest, practice to practice, and just keep doing it. I think that's what I'll have to do. That's what I've decided to do. I'd love to be out walking as much as you, Ian. I do go out on my bike now and again, but I've got an electric bike now, so I can go up hills and go further. Yeah, I probably don't do as much as what I should, or even what I could. I'm sure I could do more, but I think I feel I really do have to force myself to do it. Whereas if I just want to go and play my pipes, I'll play my pipes, and I will build up the stamina playing the pipes.
Yeah.
But I've got to have something to do it for. Well, I think we all do. That was the thing about competing, was that you had that coming up, so that you did work hard to compete. And if you don't have that, then it's just the teaching. I don't want to stop teaching. I would just, I don't know quite what I'd do. And I do enjoy teaching, I must admit.
Yeah, I find as well that stamina is an issue. I need to, if I'm off and don't play for a few days, I can notice it. We're learning our new medley for next year, and I find that it's maybe, I don't know if it's my imagination or not, but the memory work is, I think it takes me a little bit longer than it used to. My fingers are fine. I have no trouble at all with my fingers. I enjoy it, and so that I'm thankful for that. Just the general stamina thing is the band's very good to me as well. They give me a pass, the old man's pass. I don't have to do any of the long parades or anything like that, like the Santa Claus parade coming up through, which could be through the snow. Who knows? But I get a break from stuff like that, so I appreciate that.
Stay tuned to Pipes Drums for part 2 of our exclusive Competing Older panel with Charlie Martin, Brian Pollock, Iain Simpson, and Anne Spalding.